It's 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order with the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, how about a roll?
Gilman,
Here.
Chasm,
Present.
Horn, absent and excused. Underwood,
Here.
Lehman.
Here. Okay, conflict of interest. So anybody have the conflict of interest with today's agenda?
I think you skipped.
Approval of the agenda. Okay, I already marked it off.
Okay.
Can we have a?
Motion to approve the agenda with item U removed.
And we have,
We have
Joel,
so
Okay.
closed session at the end, prior to. So
Okay, call that. B2, or do you want to move W?
I think it just would be W1
Okay.
down to. If it's gonna make it.
We have a vote. Is there any support?
Support.
All right. We did a roll call. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Conflict of interest, go back to that. None?
Yeah.
Public comment. Do we have anybody who would like to speak? Okay, one at a time, come up, Kylie will read you the rules of public comments.
Any person may make an advance appointment with the board regarding road commission tactics for a regular or special meeting in accordance with the open meetings. If an appointment is made, the topic will be an agenda item. The following applies to public comments. Please state his or her name and township or district. Topic must be relevant to the road commission. Individuals are allowed to speak once for up to 3 minutes on a single topic, which may be extended by the chair. A group addressing the board requires a designated spokesperson who may speak up to 10 minutes. The board will not act on any item from the public that is not on the agenda.
Hi, Commissioners. My name is Beth Friend, Township Supervisor for East Bay Township. Respectfully ask that the Commission delay any resolution or consideration of an opt-out on the proposed Corridor Improvement Authority tax increment financing until after the Township has held its scheduled public hearing next month and has had the opportunity to present directly to the Road Commission, which is already scheduled for your next meeting. Opting out today would remove your ability to evaluate the structure and any potential benefits to transportation, infrastructure along the corridor and the related roadways. Waiting 1 month preserves your flexibility and costs nothing. Intergovernmental coordination works best when all parties have the opportunity to review the same information at the same time. Delaying action will ensure the Commission has full information regarding the initiative and its potential impact on transportation before making its final determination. I encourage the Commission to keep the door open and the Commissioners to keep their minds open until the full proposal is presented and publicly discussed. Thank you.
If I see someone else who'd like to speak to us back. Go ahead. Oh. No.
Do I give us some others?
You can give it to Kylie after you speak to us.
Okay.
They'll pass it.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. So I'm Bill Clark. With Beta, I am the outreach, mobility and planning coordinator. Then Beta's in Buckville Township. So I'm also here today to say that the East Bay Township TIF gives Beta a good opportunity to have some projects that really do help the non-motorized connections to our transit spots. So if that's something that you all could to look at in the future, it'd be really beneficial for connecting these various transits, and these roads are some Grand Traverse Road Commission roadways as well. So and it just helps with transportation in general for all. That's what we're all here for. So thanks very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, Commission, Jack Werfel from Werfel Resorts. Here to talk about the TIP project. We've been developing in the East Bay Township corridor for over 50 years now. We're taxpayers on over 186 parcels down in that area. We're extremely excited to see that our tax monies actually could be used to benefit the corridor and make it safe for pedestrian traffic as well as motorized traffic, being able to connect Beta into all of the lodging facilities and restaurant facilities. It's just a really good win-win for the corridor. And we really hope, our company hopes that the road commission takes it seriously, not to opt out, but to opt into the TIP project, because it's an exciting initiative coming forward for the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Allie Viola. I'm the East Bay Township business owner and also on the Corridor Improvement Authority. I would also echo a lot of the comments mentioned here today, especially Beth's, to consider the public hearing that's coming up and really consider opting into this TIP that's being proposed. I think for locals as well as the visitors to our area, there's a huge benefit for safety and overall infrastructure improvements that can come out of this that will just be an overall great benefit to businesses and people that reside in the corridor. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
Hi, good evening. I'm Fern Spence. I'm a Garfield Township resident, Grand Rapids County Commissioner, and I also serve on the Beta Board. I wanted to support the East Bay TIP to first and foremost improve safety for pedestrians. It was only 2 months ago that someone was struck and killed while trying to cross 31. I don't know much about who that person was, but think about the people that are working. Someone might live where you live, near you, who happens to work at the Park Shore Resort or one of those businesses, and they have to park maybe on the other side of the road. There's a lot of different ways of looking at this. I don't think that this TIP is intended to make the rich richer, as an email indicated that I recently got from Commissioner Gilman. But this is just to provide overall safety and some more traffic in our community, in our county, and not everybody can drive a car. Some people have to walk, and it's that first last mile. We can't park exactly where we're intending on going. Sometimes we have to walk to get to that destination. And I think we need to look at how our roads, our sidewalks, trails, and even our bus stops are interrelated. And this TIP is intended to build safety infrastructure for VEDA and for people who walk. And I really ask that you look at it through that lens. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, move on. Action item, we don't have any appointments. So we're gonna go to the consent.
The consent calendar is used to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together without discussion. Request by any person present to remove any items from the consent calendar for full discussion as an agenda item are automatically respected. The action noted in parentheses for all items remaining on the consent calendar are approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. The manager recommends the following items be adopted. 1, minutes. 2, payroll. 3, accounts payable. 4, financial reports, and 5, communications.
Is there anything that anyone would like removed from the consent? No?
The motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second. All right, motion made and seconded, and roll call vote. Yes. Please, Kevin.
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn, absent and excused. Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. All right, reports. Start down with the far end of the table, commission reports or
This
Yeah.
is just.
Staff.
Staff report.
staff reports, okay. Items to discuss on the staff reports. Just
Each. I have a few questions, I guess. Okay. On it.
you probably had.
On the engineering report portion of it. So the Cass Road project that's scheduled, the crush and shape project from Parkman Road to South Airport Road. We are finalizing plan preparations. Do you have an anticipated or estimated start date for that project?
I think we're looking to hit sometime after the Cherry Festival.
I thought that was from the bridge to Parkman. I'm talking about Hartman to South
We're
Airport.
trying, I guess I don't have time of like breaking out, but like once they start one side, they're just gonna keep on going.
Okay, so there won't be a pause. They'll just, okay. All right.
They'll try to get one side completely done so you can start giving people apartment and then keep moving forward.
Okay, gotcha. Now, you know, and I was pleased to know that the project came significantly, like we're almost 23% under the engineer's estimate. So that's substantial savings to the taxpayer as well. On the C-Corps, just a comment on that, just for the general public. I know that we were scheduled to start a project there for, I guess the best way to describe it would be leveling off that elevation, I think, on C-Corps, right at the intersection of East Long Lake Road. Is that?
And we refer to it as a hill cut.
Yeah, hill cut, right. And that project is being delayed to 2027 for the simple reason that of the MDOT project that will be happening at Interlochen. And the last thing we want to do is to have any of our projects on a road that, for all intents and purposes, would be one of the main detours.
One of the main unofficial details.
Well, hopefully, between the township and us and discussions with MDOT, we can convince MDOT to actually designate it as an official detour, which would help a lot in terms of fixing that road. You know, after that project is over from the wear and tear, but we'll see. The next question is on Cedar Run. It's an HMA. We are adding HMA to the shoulders in chip seal and overlay from Benzie County line to West Parney. I guess my question is that it says it has been submitted to MDOT for NEPA. It's a county road.
So that's a Fed Aid project. It's gonna be the same thing we did out at Fife Lake Road, where we had shoulders, we chip seal it, we set everything together, and then we overlay it. And that was a Fed Aid job as well. Cedar Run is also a Fed Aid job, so we have to go through all the steps.
How long does it typically take to have any of that?
I think we're looking at probably a fall project right now on that one.
If they get back to us.
Hopefully they do, but right now it's looking like probably a fall.
When we
Probably one of the last projects of the year that we do.
when we send it to them.
I'm not
October,
sure.
so it's right.
October, the last thing.
Yeah, it says October. Yeah, so it was on October 13th then.
They're terribly slow right now.
So fall is the expected start date for that project. How long will that project last, do you know?
I don't have exact timelines. I'd have to ask Chris. Chris is in here yet.
Couple of weeks project.
A couple of weeks. He's there. I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm looking at this guy going.
Okay. I am very happy to see, if I'm reading it correctly, that the detection camera is on the traffic light. So it's there now, right?
Yes.
On North Long Lake and Herkimer. Thank God. That should be celebrated, I think, in some form of fashion. Frankie Road, do you know when we can get the design review completed by OHM?
We were told with an email a week or two ago that they're hoping by this week they're gonna have 80% design to us. And that's usually the point where you start to show people where it's at. So maybe we'll switch something tomorrow. If not, maybe early. Chris, have you heard any updates?
Nah, I don't think I'll follow up.
Okay.
And
They were
what's the-
hoping to have us this week.
And what's the process after that? Once we receive the design, is that going to be like a public input session, or is that going to be shared with the stakeholders at a minimum?
Yeah, so I don't think we necessarily have a public one at that point, but we've been meeting with quite a few people like TCAPs when we get a group together. I think we would bring it back to them at that point to take a look at
So
it.
it's TCAPS, Garfield Township, who else? Is involved in that?
The city's right in there. I think there's a few other groups. I'm not sure on
Okay.
everybody. TCAPs is inviting other people. We've been inviting TCAPs in Garfield Township. They've been inviting others.
Got it. Okay. All right. And lastly, I see that there was some sort of investigating the vehicle detection at North Long Lake Road and Cedar Run Road signal. It's on this report on page 44 and on February 17. Do you have? I've been noticing because I drive through there every day in the morning and in the evening.
that there are some issues with vehicle detection. So I was wondering what that issue was because I noticed it too about, how the signal is timed.
You know,
That
Haley
looks terrible.
talked about that, Chris. Do you have a little more?
The update that we have on that is there's potential that there's some wires, new wires that have some rodent type damage.
We would almost be better off just setting a fixed timing, just letting it, and shortening the cycles. Because right now, you could sit there for 5 minutes in one of the directions.
Well, I think my issue is that I was surprised that there is a vehicle detection system at that intersection, to be honest with you, because of how it operates. There'll be a right turn arrow there when there's absolutely no car in the right turn lane, which doesn't suggest to me that there's a vehicle detection system there.
That's the one
The
where
vehicle detection system is not currently functioning. That's part of what the rodent activity has impacted.
Okay, so how long has it not been functioning, do you know?
It's been a while. We haven't received the calls telling us that the detection isn't functioning.
I try to avoid not calling you guys.
We noticed it when we actually had a couple of conflict errors pop up in there because it was doing a few things it wasn't supposed to. And upon investigation, we found some wires that have been chewed into along with the ones that control the vehicle detection.
So is there a timeline as to when it will be fixed?
We're doing some investigation right now to try and determine the extent of the damage. Likely because of where the damage is located, we are going to have to, in order to fix it, turn the signal dark and do a little bit of rewiring.
Thank you. Those are all the questions I had.
I have one question. Summit City, have we got agreements for all of the easement that we need?
no, I know we're still working on that.
We have not. We got two of them we're waiting still.
Two still, okay. Because they ask me every month where we're at with that. Okay.
I think ours is the one I was tasked with. Yeah, I think that's it. And that one's done.
So it might be done just the one.
Just the one.
Yeah. He wasn't happy about it. Decided. Good. Okay. Commissioners' discussion on any matters. Item F. Start the other end of the table. Go.
Really,
Yeah, you're good at this, yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna roll it
Maybe
into
never
one.
will be.
You could almost put them together.
Yeah, usually you just.
Wait, all right, go.
Yeah,
What do you got?
well, I attended a couple of CRA meetings. One of them had to do, spent part of the time with the attorneys on proper retention of information. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is great. The other we did on road funding. Do you want to talk about road funding now, or you want to kind of clip that all together with this all budget? So the best way to describe what's going on with the two bills, the regular road funding is in place, so that's up and running. So we do have a dip in our income because the Neighborhood Roads Fund program, the NRF, they're not going to collect. The state's not going to receive the marijuana money until December, November, somewhere in that range. So therefore, they're advising us do not plan on spending that money this year, but that it will come in next year. Probably, they said January, but to me, working for government, that means February, March. At which time the payments, you'll get the lump sum from this year, and then the payments from then on should then come on the regular schedule. But it's not as simple as that, because the wholesale marijuana tax is about 420 million. The corporate income tax that they created is over there, but they've removed the 600 million. Redirected it. So bottom line is there'll be about $1.1 billion in that fund, but before the fund can be distributed to us, there are three buckets that have to be filled. There's $100 million that goes into the local bridge program. of which 70% should be county bridges. This is a 5-year program. There's 40 million that go into local rail grade separation. Again, that's a 5-year program. And then there's 100 million that go into the CTF fund / light rail. CTF is transit authorities. That's another 5 years. And then they split that 100 million up in 2 ways. So those have to be filled at all before we get a dime. So
Is the
They're gonna-
cascade from.
they're going to get paid kind of like we did proposal P, where we had the different buckets before it goes into the general fund. So we're going to get the money, but it's going to be next year. That's the best way to describe it. So we have to demand for it. And
Can I ask why? Why is it gonna come?
well, one of the things that's happening is it's a new taxation process. So Treasury does have to figure out how they're going to collect and how it's going to process out. Two, because of the court, the marijuana folks have gone into the court system. So they're saying, you know, we're confident we're going to win, but don't plan on spending the money until we do. So the association's basically just saying, just go ahead and plan for next year if you're going to need that money. When we need that money.
So after all these buckets are filled, like the way you've described, we will still get an additional 1.1 billion?
No, that comes out of the 1.1 billion.
Oh,
And then once those buckets are full, then it gets distributed out. 52% go to counties, 20% to MDOT, and 28% to municipality.
Okay.
So that's how the funding will be once it's done. And that'll be a separate check than our regular fund.
Sure.
So it'll come in separately. And Bill already knows.
It'll probably come on the same deposit. It'll probably just be designated separately like the local road program is currently.
So
But it'll be a completely separate account, different reporting on the financial
Yeah,
statements.
and one of the reasons they're doing it, and like I said, we're gonna have the money, but it'd be for the local roads, and then we don't have to, we are not supposed to require the
Correct.
match. It
on
is,
that particular part.
it is for the local roads.
It's for
We can-
primary and local.
We can encourage local match. Can't require it for that particular funding.
Right.
Obviously, local match would make the money go further in that township.
So does that mean we no longer have, once that is in place, we no longer have to have our local match powers?
It does, that is, we still can have the local match
It's
policy. It's just-
discretionary.
But that bucket of money, that money that we get for that is to our local.
And this is for the neighborhood roads fund, which is gonna be much less than what we actually get for our actually one funds.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a smaller fund that
Yeah.
they said we were gonna try to take care of things that can't be funded any other way.
Yeah.
But it's separate and it's gonna be late, so if we were initially, we talked about trying to gear up for that stuff this year, and
Would have been nice, but
but it's not gonna be this year. Is what,
It may be
I'm
in-
not clear on that.
It may be in our calendar year, but it probably will not be in the state's September 30th.
right.
Because corporations run, state of Michigan runs on a not. Part of the problem here is this is October to September budgets. Most corporations run January to December, so there is this adjustment that everybody has to make for the funding to come through. Is that a good way to say it, Bill? Yeah.
I attended the Green Lake Township meeting, and one of the things that, the main topic that was discussed with us was obviously the project, the MDOT project at Interlochen with the roundabout. And one of the things that the supervisor talked about was that in a recent meeting with MDOT, apparently MDOT has changed their plan. Initially, they were not going to shut down traffic around that intersection during the construction. Now they would. And it's going to be a period of about 10 days or something like that. So obviously that's a significant change in terms of the traffic that will need to be rerouted. And one of the things that we discussed at that meeting was a collective effort by Green Lake, Long Lake Townships, and us to to emphasize upon MDOT to designate East Long Lake Road and Seacole Road as an official detour. And one of the things that the board asked us whether we can adopt a resolution that the two townships can sign on to the MDOT, asking MDOT to designate that section of the road as an official detour. So I told them that I'll bring it to the board's attention and see how we want to proceed on that.
We definitely want to do something. We've heard enough discussion about it. And it seems like the detour they determined before the project started, most traffic that comes through that is coming toward Traverse City. And for whatever reason, they decided to detour the traffic in the other direction to head south. And everybody who's going to Traverse City doesn't want to go south. They want to go north. So the pressure has been on the northern roads where we've heard about it, north of that thing. So they might have not fully considered how the people don't want to drive away from their destination.
Right.
And I hope we encourage it. So whatever we need to do, I think, to blend and to go with the townships, because their residents are bearing the brunt of this.
Yeah.
But there's enough people in their own townships, but they're bearing the brunt of the township.
Right.
traffic
I think
coming from.
I think the comments was made by one or two of the board members that traffic is literally going through their subdivisions, and creating basically a safety situation in these neighborhoods. The one question I had, and this could be by Dan or Chris, my understanding from previous discussions was that if MDOT designates it officially one of our roads as a detour, do we get reimbursed by them if there are subsequent repairs that we have to do as a result of the wear and tear of the roads? For some reason, it was a discussion several years ago about how, I can't remember which project it was, how we kind of missed on having an opportunity to have a road designated as an official detour and thereby missed out on not getting the funding. Right.
Quickly.
But it was because of the funding that it was tied to the funding, but I wanted to get some clarification. Is that your understanding that that's how it works?
I think with that agreement, they're supposed to go back and fix any damage that happens. Chris, is that?
When they do their project planning phase, part of what they have to do is the traffic impact and works on determination study. And so they've got to take a look at what the feasible routes are, and then the guidance, and it's a guidance, is that they're supposed to bring any non-state trunk line roads that they detour the traffic on up to a standard to support the trunk line traffic. So that's where, so that's kind of like why Gonder and Riley got paved and brought up to the standard that they did.
Okay.
It's also my understanding is when they designate an official detour, that detour becomes the state trunk line and they're responsible for the maintenance during that period.
Well, so good.
So are we within the time frame that we can ask MDOT to do that, to designate that section as a detour, or is it too late?
I don't think they're going to designate that section as a detour. I think they're talking about putting in some temporary lights to help, but they're still, the last conversation I had, Chris, correct me if you heard differently, but they're still saying that's the designated detour.
The original.
The original one.
But they did talk about putting up some a temporary traffic light at Seacole and West Silver Lake.
We don't have any firm commitment for that now.
They're exploring the possibilities. If they can do that within their contract. We had the discussion with them. They're aware of the difficulties we've had, and trying to see what they can do that.
But yeah, and I guess that's the point, is that initially they were not supposed to stop all traffic. Now, if they are going to stop all traffic at that intersection, does that make a difference with the initial assessment?
Normally they don't stop the east and west and the north and south at the same time. Right. How's anybody going to get there who has?
To me, they've changed the project.
Based upon the conversation with the township has had, now they're going to shut that intersection down. for a
Well,
period of days.
maybe we could ask and they could explain to us their plan. Could you, Chris, could you Dan follow up and tell, we'd like to know what the changes are in the plan
Yeah,
and have they run it by the local municipalities and how will that affect people coming through there? Maybe they're still in the investigation stage.
which is good. If they're going to do that, maybe we can talk them out of it. But if they're not going to be talked out of it, then at least we can tell them that, well, now you've changed basically the scope of the project. And maybe that requires a different, a new assessment of the details. That's it.
Commissioner Field.
Okay, a couple other things from Paul Bunyan. Just following up, of course, the budget did include a mileage-based user fee pilot in the budget, which I don't think we want in northern Michigan, that type of tax collection. That we did that argument before. As far as our insurance pools, CRASIP is pushing the return to work for account stuff. So as much as we can, that will work out to our advantage. I don't think that's anything new. There's a three, let's see, in CRASIP, McChrysip, I can't pronounce all these things. Anyhow, they were having problems with their software that we were using to interface with them, and they've just decided they are developing their own software. The people who built their software just kind of failed. We're not responsive, and they said, "Well, heck, for what we're paying, we can hire somebody and actually build our own." So that's coming online. I really don't have anything else that's of any note from that, and that's about it.
Okay, I have two things. I met with Peninsula Township. They're reactivating. I was invited to me. They're reactivating Old Mission byways. It used to be a scenic heritage route. It's now a state-funded byway program. It's sort of fuzzy to me exactly what it's going to do, but it's for corridor consideration. The young man who was up from Lansing couldn't exactly identify for us what programs it would help. Would it help with pedestrian safety? Would it help with scenic stuff? But the Peninsula Township is reactivating the committee they had before COVID, and they're going to work on this byway, which is up this Center Road, M30.
So as we learned, and they probably won't have any that qualify. They probably won't have any roads that actually qualify.
No, they've actually got this targeted, and they actually have this route, but it's sort of inactive.
Yeah.
And if they reactivate their committee and work on it, there might be some public benefit.
If it's as it was before, it'd be hard to see them adding walking or biking space. And the reason I say that is because they also had limits on tree removal, which we had a problem with, of course, because that affects our roads. Anytime we even touch a tree, it becomes a problem for those particular stretches. So be interesting to see what they come up with.
And for that,
because it's a scenic route, that's great, but there are specific there's a specific meaning for the byways.
The other thing is I was at the Garfield Township meeting the other evening. They wanted to compliment the staff. Our staff has been pushing back snowbanks because they have a lot of fire hydrants and things we haven't had big snowbanks for any number of years, but Dan and Larry reached out to them, and Jennifer Hodges from Gordy, who is the township's municipal engineer of record for their water and sewer. She said was really complimentary about how we reached out. We plotted them. You plotted them, and we didn't knock any out. And she really appreciated that during all the pushback, snowback, they have no damage, and they were really thrilled with it. Very complimentary. And Garfield says that they're we have an excellent relationship with them. We've got these projects that they're committed to roads in their township. And they're looking to move it forward more with them.
There is one thing I forgot. Dan might have been going to talk about it, but Monday night, you're still with me, right? Dan and I are going to be at the city of Traverse City to discuss the Beitner Bridge, Beitner Park area changes that we're negotiating out Monday night.
That's all I have for the townships. How about the traffic count view presentation?
Sure. So this is just a follow-up. We've been talking about all the traffic counts that we did countywide. And we are going live now with on our website so that everybody can see it. And Scott, I don't want to take it from there.
Everyone, I'm going to start us off on the website so that you can see how to get there. On our homepage, you can hit the road information tab and go down to traffic counts here. Then this traffic count interactive map to open it up. For the time being, we also have it on our homepage. If you just scroll down, this nice little picture, here you go. So click on that to open it up. You'll first see this splash screen. It kind of tells you how to use it, how to navigate it, what's what, that sort of stuff. And if you don't want it popping up, you can click that checkbox or just hit OK and enter the map. This is essentially it. Similar to what you guys have seen before. All these white, in the white text are ours from our road commission, and all the ones in the green text over here are from MDOT. Those are only on state trunk lines. If we wanted to filter down to just a township, we could hit one of these filter buttons to hit just show Garfield. And it would limit it just to Garfield Township. We, for some reason, wanted to also include Blair Township in that. It'll also add that, and it gives you a little bit of statistics down here. If you wanted to turn off the state trunk lines, you could hit this layer option on the left side and click this I, and that'll take off all of the green text so that you won't see that. Or if you wanted to take off ours, you could hit this I on the traffic counts option here. It would take off all the dots.
This is available to the public. It's on our website. It's ready to go. Most of the counts are quite current.
For the last 3 years, that's our target.
So these numbers reflect traffic counts done at various times in the last 3 years.
That's the traffic count. You can see the year they were taken.
Okay, that's the parentheses. Okay, got it.
There was a little bit of data that came through weird. So there's some roads we do need to redo. It's a future project to try to get the rest of those roads in.
When you click over to airport, east of the airport drive. See what we have. Okay.
That's about 2025.
Quite correct. You're having 18,000. 15,000 is that savings.
It's
15,188 and 68. Which road is that, Garfield?
South Airport. Then 3 mile up there, you can see where the 21 and the splits go. 87,000 south along where we've got that crossing of Bessnu Trail down there. And 18 going to the west.
21,000 on 3 Mile Road.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 3 mile, that stretches. Every stretch.
And this information, along with the pavement surface ratings, is the stuff that's being used to go into our 5-year plan. Right. The combination of these factors.
This is good stuff. This is good information.
Okay. There is also the search bar function there if you want to look for a specific road.
Kind of fascinating that the increase in that Lafreniere road too. Back.
I know last time I asked this question, where are we on that 5-year? Is it pretty much done?
The Wade Trim is still working on that. We're hoping to see something very, very quickly.
Okay.
Oh, and last thing is it's also available on mobile. Want to use it on your phone.
Well, that's cool.
It'll look like this. That filter option won't open immediately. So you do have to click on this eye icon to open that panel up. And then it's kind of the same thing that you would get on your desktop.
And it's so available to everyone
That's good stuff.
who wants to know. And it's certainly, the township planners and stuff have access to more stuff from us now than they would, information that they'd ever have as they consider
Definitely. We still have
land use and zoning.
all of our road ratings on there as well. They're not integrated here, but there's another spot on our website where you can see the rating of the road. And this, in future plans would be to, it'd be nice to be able to put them somewhere we could look at them together on the same tab. But
Right.
this is that first stage. We wanted to release that to everybody, want to know that, you know, it's active now.
So the end goal is to have this map overlaid with a map that shows the PACER ratings or the TCI ratings to show whether they're good, fair, failing.
Sure.
Okay.
And the major power behind both of those pieces of data is you can put them in the same layer and then you can query the data and tell me and say, show me all the roads that have over 10,000 cars that's in poor condition.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
vice versa. So it's really powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is fantastic.
H. Yeah, this is an exciting.
So we'll follow up with this and part of cool. Now we have all these car counts. We can start to take a look at where are people traveling? Where are they going? And take a look at our primary roads, our local roads, and see if it makes sense to add some and make some changes. And we were able to do this and actually formulate that. You want to have that 70-30% with local to primary roads. And we were actually a little bit below that with these car counts and, you know, with the MPO, the urban area, we can start to add some roads back in there. And that's what we're suggesting here is these roads. You can see the map is every road that we're looking at, both and local. And then if you look at the one here where we're doing the reclassification, it shows what we're looking at doing here. So total roads we're looking at reclassifying as 17 miles. And then ones that we're looking to add as primary roads within the urban limit, 14.76 miles. And we've talked to MDOT about this. So we have to send it in every year to certify what roads we want. We've talked to them about, we have this data, we can show you this data. If we submit these, is it worth our while? And they right now are sounding very positive. They'll accept the data. So it's positive for us is that there's these roads that we weren't able to take care of before, these primary roads. When we switch to the primary, we can stick a little more funding to them, and we actually get a little more funding for them.
So what's the criteria you've used to come up with recommendations to classify these roads from local to primary?
There's a couple different things. Part of it becoming the MPO is, you know, before they want primary roads spread out for 2 miles, Chris, they're looking at.
Rural areas, they recommend our primary roads be spaced 3 to 4 miles apart. And once it's in the urbanized area, the recommendation is kind of about every mile.
Okay.
So we're able to, now that we're, you know, become the urbanized area and we have some traffic counts to back up the numbers, like Lafreniere is a perfect one. Lafreniere is a local road. And when you pull the car count up on there, what's Lafreniere Road is at 15,000, almost 500 cars a day. That should probably not be a local road anymore. That's a primary road. Now we can justify that.
But then it's surprising. There's like Brackett Road with 598 cars.
That's the other side of it.
Perfect.
But that's out of the urban area.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
So for that one, that's something that's been talked about for years. There's Yuba Road is one. So you can only have so many. We're looking to try and do some swaps and ones that don't necessarily make sense. If you look at Yuba Road is currently the primary road with 122 cars on it.
Okay, yeah.
So if you look at that township individually and where the traffic is flowing, it makes sense to take a look at Brackett, where the main part of it has almost 1,500 cars, and that's a local road.
Okay.
That's Lautner Road, the roundabout, a lot of that traffic's traveling through there.
Okay.
So that's a good swap. And actually by swapping that road, that Yuba Road, which is outside of the urban boundary. By making the local versus the primary, we actually get a little more money on it, being a local road versus a primary road.
But you've identified the roads that people are traveling on.
Yeah.
Where we have serious traffic on that have been local roads. And we have the room to upgrade them to.
Most of them are supported by the National Functional Classification too. That's gives a little bit of higher priority for federal aid funding and things of that nature.
Yeah, it'll help us for future trend flag things.
Were we able to do this because of the MPO, or did something else change that allowed us to do this reclassification?
I would say it's just something that once we had the car counts, it spurred it into me
Okay.
that I want to take a look at this and see where we're at and what can we do.
So this car count project really.
That
spurred
was
and
what
helped.
spurred in my mind. I really wanted to look at these car counts and then what can we do with this data? And that's something I wanted to look at.
It's a growing area, so MDOT's very supportive of reevaluating the road network because it hasn't been changed in quite a few years. And they try to target statewide, 30% primary, 70% local. Our net change is just under 15 miles net moving from local to primary. So we're picking up a little bit more, and that's moving our percentage from 25.3% up to 26.6%. It's just a little blip on the 90,000 statewide miles. And then in the urbanized area statewide, they're at 32% primary, and this change would move us from 28.5 to 31.5%. So we're still going to be under the state. So we're not going to throw up any flags necessarily with that.
I don't know if you recall, we started talking about this when we were talking about Windrick Road because it aligns with the light going to Cedar.
And which is actually interesting. Chris caught it. Leland on it, that is not a primary road for them on the other side. So they reached out to them and said, hey, you've been talking to us about this for years. We're going to move forward with the light there. Then we actually probably do the same thing. So we're actually helping them. They've never done it before. Chris is working with them to help them walk through the process. How to do that.
That's a logical primary road right there. That's interesting.
No, it's on the north side. It's just a little quarter mile segment south.
This is reflecting the reality of the traffic. Better.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, great.
How about who got you contract? Chris?
Yeah. We put our wedging contract out to bid on Mitten again this year. We did only receive one bid. That bid came from Elmer's. Pricing looks like it held pretty steady in comparison to last year. Last year we put the contract together a little bit different than we did this year. And so there was kind of a range of pricing with last year's HMA tonnage in there, in terms of, the price that we got based on the location where the project was. This year, we lumped it all together as one item. And that price that we got this year was on the far low end of the range that we had last year. So it was nice to see those prices kind of hold pretty steady last year. That said, Elmer's bid was for an amount, a unit price amount of $882,822. And we're recommending that the board approve award to Elmer's.
What's the time frame for the wedging? This is all before our chip sealing.
All of these contracts or the projects that are in the wedging contract are intended to have chip seal on them, and so they have a completion date of the 19th of June.
Thank you. Are we getting better prices because we are doing these, putting these out to bids a lot earlier than we used to?
There's potential that that's a factor. Sometimes if the contractor's schedule starts to fill up, they're going to throw some prices at it that are, if you really want it, you're going to pay for it kind of price. These are small projects that they can kind of fit in between their big stuff. So I don't know that for this particular contract, that's playing that much of a factor into it.
Okay. I was in a meeting with MDOT not too long ago, and they're seeing statewide averages are asphalt prices are down about 10%.
Okay.
They're contributing a lot of that to fuel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I make the motion that we approve the bid by Elmer's Crane Dozer for $882,822.
Second. We have motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Kyle?
Horn, absent and excused. Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes, motion passes. How about J, the chip seal award?
We put our chip seal package out at the same time as we put the wedging package out this year. Advertised it for bid on Mitten or Gov bids. We did receive back 2 bids. Farner, who has done work for us for the past couple of years, and then also Pavement Maintenance Systems. It's been a little while since they've worked with us, back to about 2020, 21, somewhere in that time frame. Farner did submit the low bid, had a cost of $1,285,854.21. And we are recommending that the board approve.
You're making fun of all kinds of head over here.
I make the motion to approve awarding the 2026 chip seal program contract to Farner Asphalt Sealers LLC in the bid amount of $1,285,854.21.
Second. I'll second that one too.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Chasm, support by Underwood. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn, absent and excused, and Lehman.
Yes. Motion carries. All right, how about A, pavement market?
Our pavement marking contract was put out at the same time as the other 2 that we were discussing here. This is for our countywide pavement markings. This is our long lines and our, what we call the specials, which is like our turn arrows, our schools, railroads, stop bars, etc. We didn't do specials last year, so it's coming time to do them again this year. The bid was advertised for 2 weeks on Mitten/Gov bids. We had 1 bidder that submitted a bid this year, and that's PK Contracting. They perform a lot of work throughout the county for us. Their bid came in under the engineer's estimate. Their total bid amount was $488,219.64, and we recommend award.
And we know they back up their work because when they put the arrow the wrong way in the left turn lane last year over the holiday.
I'll make a motion to approve the PK contracting bid for $488,219.64.
I'll support it.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Underwood, support by Commissioner Chasm. Is there any further discussion?
Is our engineer too generous or with the estimates, or because I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm very happy to see that we are consistently coming under the estimate, but
we saw the prices hold pretty steady
Okay.
for the HMA, the wedging, and the pavement marking this year, which is fantastic. We typically kind of assume that we've got some inflation going on in here, and there was a little bit, but not to the extent we expected.
All right, that's great. That's good.
Well, the fuel costs is, I mean, it's making.
I'm very happy with that.
Lower fuel costs. We like that.
Okay, there's no further discussion. Let's have a roll call on that, please.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn, absent and excused. Underwood,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. That passes. How about L, the tag trailer, you know?
Sure. So this is something that we've been wanting to add in for a couple of years. We've gotten more and more small iron over the last few years, and we're starting to find that in order to get out to the job site, we don't have enough trailers to get there. We originally started looking at this at replacing an older trailer. We actually kind of fixed that trailer up a little bit to get by, but we still think that it'd be good to add this new trailer in. So we put a bid out. We had 8 bidders came through on it. Quite a few of them did not meet our bid specifications that we put out. And then once we went further into that, there was a low bidder, and then there was the next one up who we are recommending as MK Trailers. And the reason for that was, even though they were a lower bidder, we put that we wanted the trailer delivered here to Traverse City. They did not put that in there. So technically that kind of does not meet bid specifications, but the trailer is fully met specs. But when you look at how far we'd have to travel to pick that trailer up,
Yeah,
it was like
1,500 miles.
1,500 miles away.
Yeah.
The other thing is we're not familiar with that trailer brand other than the components on it. And there's no service local, there's no warranty parts, anything like that. MK is in Grand Rapids, so we know we can at least get something in the state of Michigan if something happens to this trailer.
As far as I'm concerned, we got 4 bids, because if you're not in compliance with bid. It's not really, I mean, you submitted something, but it's not really a
We
bid.
had 8
You-
responses.
Yes, you had 8
Four-
responses, but the 4 bids. And out of the 4, only 1 is under, and for those reasons where, yeah, because of the delivery cost not being included in the substantial distance. I make the motion to award the contract for the purchase of a 25-ton tag trailer to M&A Trailer in the amount of $42,928.
Okay, is there support? Motion by Gavin, second by Underwood. Any further discussion on this? Carly, could we have a roll call, please?
Chasm,
Yes.
Corn, absent and excused. Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. Motion passes. Move on to M Cold Patch. Okay.
All right, this is, obviously, this is the meeting that we have a lot of bids coming our way, so just gonna start with our cold patch. We did get, 4 bids and some of the similar ones that from last year. Elmer's Unique Paving Material and Gravy Train Trucking, Ace Saginaw Paving Company, and, the apparent low here, and we've used them for the last 3 years now, is Unique Paving. So I'm recommending that we utilize them again. The prices look pretty good and the delivery price looks very good. So we're moving with Unique Paving. I'll recommend Unique Paving for full patch. I've tried to put the miles traveled if we go down and pick them up. So Elmer's is definitely closer. But if you look at the bid price, it's,
Do we need a motion for each one of these?
I think so.
I make a motion that we accept the bid from Unique Paving Materials for quarter patch for 2026.
Second,
I'll support that.
any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Corn, absent and excused. Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. All right, moving on, Brian.
all right, for our brine, our dust control, this is for our gravel roads that we utilize in spring. We have most of our townships, they all participate in the spring brine or, dust control. We'll have a secondary one that we have about half of our townships. They also participate in that as well. But we did get a few people that just sent in letters and basically said no bid. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what does that mean? They just didn't bid,
They
right?
just didn't bid. They sent back the paperwork and everything and just put no bid on it. So,
Okay.
They want to stay in the mix, but just don't have anything this time around.
correct.
How much, what was the price difference between last year and this year?
There is on that spreadsheet, you can see it's about a 5% increase.
Yeah.
And then for the tank brine or the bulk brine, it's about a 2% increase.
So the bottom price, under the 1,900 gallons per mile, and there's a dollar price. What does that dollar price represent?
That represents 1 mile worth of brine.
So for the 38%, it's $1,787.90 per 1 mile of brine.
Correct.
Okay. And how many miles do we typically brine? Okay.
Pretty much, we have one primary road that is gravel that we do Brown Bridge. So that's about 2.3 miles or something like that, but, quite a few.
Quite a few.
And we definitely want the 38%.
Yes. Well, we do, but lately, just because of, there's a shortage of brine right now, and there was a shortage last year, we diluted it down to the 35%, and we've noticed that it really hasn't affected the performance.
We've come up quite a bit from where we were at before too.
Correct, right? Yep, correct.
So which one would we get? 38 or 35 or 40?
We'll probably do the 35% again.
Okay.
It was the first year he recommended 35. We're kind of like, no, I don't think so. And he said, well, let me try 35 in the spring, see what you guys think, and then I'll let's see what happens. And it worked out really great. And, he was able to actually do a little extra for us just to kind of show us and prove to us that it was a good product and it still worked.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept Great Lakes Corp. Bid of 2026 flying.
Their support.
There's support. And do we have to specify the 35%
I would feel comfortable
Yeah.
doing that.
I'll
or 170810?
35%.
Motion by Commissioner Underwood, support by Commissioner Gilman to accept the 35% bid from Great Lakes Chloride. Is there any further discussion?
My only other question, Larry, you gotta like let the townships know pronto.
We work very, very close, yes, with the townships and yeah, they will get their list and they will approve the miles that we do and then we'll get back with them.
We do about 175 center line miles.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. We will have a roll call discussion.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes,
Horn, absent and excused, and Lehman.
Yes. Motion passes. Oh, hot mix asphalt bid.
All right, so we went out for our hot mix asphalt. This is a lot just for, the majority of this is for potholing. So we typically will go to Elmer's in the morning and we'll fill up all our patch wagons and then we'll go out and patch. We'll typically go back for a second. If it's a good day, we'll go back for a second filling of those patch wagons and then we'll go from there.
So these are small loads.
Small loads, yep, exactly. We've also used this bid for some minor wedging as well. So we'll do a little bit of work doing that type of task. So right now we're recommending that we actually use both. Because last year I got into a situation where Elmer's was not able to get us asphalt for a certain project. And Elmer's was.
And Molon was.
I'm sorry, Mo.
Yeah, I thought we approved that last year. I thought we approved both of them at the same time too.
as one of his
Yeah,
preferred. Yeah,
That works. I mean, if that's good for them, that's good for us.
Sometimes one will open up or stay open longer too, so it can run a long season. Usually it's Molon that runs longer this season.
Sure.
it's always good to have a plan B.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
There, the only difference would be that it's 15.5 miles away from here. And so that's why.
If we need it and that's what's available, that's what we're gonna get.
But they also, Molon is 92,000 and Elmer's is 97,000. Right? So,
When you do the math on the small loads, it's still better
Right.
off
yeah,
going to higher.
okay.
Okay. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the two bids from Elmer's and Molon for the hot mix asphalt units.
Support that. All right, motion by Commissioner Chasm, support by Commissioner Gilman. Further discussion. Roll call, please.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes,
Horn, absent and excused, Underwood,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. All right, how about P, tree service?
All right, tree service, we had two bids, and this is the type of tree service. Well, let's say it's too big of a tree for us to handle. It might be by a power line. It might be something that our crews cannot do. And we'll go out, we'll identify that tree, we'll get prices, and this is a price list, no doubt, but we still go by, height that breast height, so around the tree. They can do stump grinding for us and things like that. This is another one that is, I like to bid both just for availability. Always there. They were last year that helped us out. They did a really good job for us. Chop Tree Service is a new bidder, which is pretty exciting. I'm excited to try them out and see how they do. But yeah, I'm also recommending us bid both or approve both of these bids.
so historically speaking, Larry, how often do we use outside contractors for this type of service?
We'll use them through the summer. We had some trees that were too big for us, or we had our work crews that were trying to do other things. We didn't have time to do it. And they're very specific. They come in and do a very specific job and then go away.
And we only get charged for project by project.
Project by project. this is an interesting one because we're starting to do, like I said, a tree trimming and trying to clear out a corridor. We did get some prices for corridor clearing down here, which I'm pretty interested in doing. And this is a spot where we could cover like a half mile, going down a half mile worth of road and have them truly open up the canopy so that we get more sunlight on the road. So pretty interested in trying that out as well.
The other thing I noted was that there are a couple of items that CHOP Tree Service didn't even bid on. So we are pretty much by default gonna go with always there.
Correct. And some of the stump grinding, we do some stump grinding in house too.
Okay.
So we have stump grinding. Yes. All right. So recommending both.
I'll make a motion that we accept both Top Tree Service and Alden's Fair Tree Fair bid for 2026 tree service.
Support. Okay. Motion by Commissioner Underwood, support by Commissioner Gilman to accept the bids from the two bidders. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Chasm,
Yes.
Corn, absent and excused. Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. How about Q, the guardrail spraying?
Guardrail spraying, we are, last year we had our couple mowers go down and, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but some weeds and some things grew up behind our guardrails, and it's an area after they grow up that tall, it's very, intensive to remove. So I contacted a few, other road commissions downstate, and this is pretty common downstate, where they hire crews to come up and spray those guardrails to try to mitigate the pesticides or the pests or the, greenery.
Just kills it.
Well, basically, yeah, just kills it. Yeah, this space getting herbicide, they're all certified. They're very, very close. This one though that I am actually, we do have a parent low, but I am actually recommending the TLM Lake and Land out of Everett. The only reason I did that was I checked some references and just got some feedback from other from the Oakland County TSC MDOT, and kind of in their favor. Plus, they're very aquatically friendly, and we're going to get around a ton of water.
Okay, that was my concern as far as environmental effect. I mean,
That's important.
Yep.
So the vendor takes responsibility for the.
Vendor takes responsibility. They do all the notifications. They put the notifications in the mail, or not in the mail, in the paper, and they take care of all that. And they take care of anything overspray into somebody's yard or something like that. They're responsible for it. They also utilize GPS, and they will take in our GIS layer so they can see where our guardrails are, so they can just come in and then get out of here quick.
I make the motion to accept the bid from PLM Lake and Land Management for guardrails for herbicide application and vegetation control.
So support. Okay, motion by Commissioner Chasm, support by Commissioner Underwood to accept the PLM bid. Further discussion? Roll call, please, Scott.
Corn, absent and excused. Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. All right, how about the aggregates bid?
All right, the aggregates bid. We did get a few more bidders this year. Last year, we had Elmer's and Cassins. They were the only two that bid. This year, we have a few others, which is great.
Yes.
Crystal Aggregates, L&D Casey and Sons, and AJ's Excavating. So,
I always like it when we have more options and more companies bidding. It just becomes, it's more competitive with the pricing.
100% agree.
Clearly, our staff we're looking to go to the least expensive option that gives us what we need. Correct. At any given point. So there's some significant differences.
Yeah.
There are. So this is almost, I kind of think of it like this is their their menu or their price list, right? So I'm, again, recommending we approve all these prices. And this is the kind of stuff that, you know, we need 22A, we just run to Elmer's.
Right.
We run to the closest pit and we get the closest, pit, material. So, you know, not everybody has the riprap, and so it's kind of a little around the world, but at the same time, if we can prove it tonight, then I have the ability to go wherever suits us best and has the best price.
So, for example, you know, for Cassins, they don't list prices for quite a few of the items towards the bottom. Like, you know, there's no prices listed from items 8 to 13. Same with Crystal and L&D. So if we are comparing Elmer's with Al's, is it Al's excavating or AI's? I don't know. AJ's. Oh, it's Jane. Okay. Depending upon the materials, do you typically then go with the one that's cheaper rate? For example, you know, I'm just looking at item 1. Elmer's unit price is $20.05. AJ's is $17.25.
Correct.
So how does that work? You go with AJ's because it's $3, like, you know, $2.50 cheaper, or is it based upon how much it's closer? Then I don't know where AJ's is.
Well, closer's a big one because it costs us quite a bit of money
in gas.
That is a delivered price.
Yeah. So
okay.
So some of them are like, if you look at a train rate is where they're going to use a train to deliver this stuff. So I can't say, hey, give me 3 yards of this 22A.
They're going to need a full train, right?
50 tons, right? Yeah. So we're not going to go
I see what you
get like 10 tons or something like that. The 10-ton price would be the other, where it's like, I'm coming to pick it up from your pit.
Got it. Okay.
So if I go get it to your pit, I'm trying to see who's closest and does it make sense money wise.
That makes sense.
Pick it up from there.
Okay. So
options are good here as well.
Where is L&D casing subs on it?
L&D case, these are all delivered prices, I believe.
So it doesn't, and they're pretty much open.
Right. But they still are a little on the, somewhat cheaper side. So
On some things.
on something,
Yeah.
So train rate basically means a certain quantity.
50 tons.
Right, 50 tons.
Okay.
Got it. And you may not always need 50 tons.
Correct. That's good.
Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion to accept all 5 bids. Do I need to name them? From Elmer's, Caissons, Crystal Aggregate Materials, L&D, AC and Sons, and AJ's Excavating LLC for aggregate materials.
Right, so support that. Chasm, support by Commissioner Gilman. Any further discussion? All right, Kyle?
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn, absent and excused, Lehman.
Yes. Motion passes. Okay, S, Sand Award.
Now, this is one where you kind of put it with the aggregate bid, put them all out at once, right? So they're answering the thing, but we split out the sand because the sand is fairly unique to us. There are years in the past that we've made our own. So we rented the equipment, we went to our pit and we created our own sand. And we hauled our own sand, everything on us. We have not made sand in 3 years?
The last time I made sand, it lasted 3 winters.
3 winters, right? So we have not went out for this sand bid. I mean, we went out for the bids, but we always look at it and say, you know, we're going to beat that price by doing it in-house. Well, it's starting to become one of those things where the prices are lowering a little bit. People are getting, like you said, a little more competitive, you know, things like that. So that's why we're seeing a few more, I think, bids. And these are, again, either picked up prices or delivered prices. And typically we will, like in this scenario, it would be the trucking company or the company delivering it to this Lafreniere location with the big sand pile, or the Kingsley location with the big sand pile. same sand that we put in our, our plow trucks to mix with salt and treat the roads because you don't want big rocks and all that stuff.
Can we add another option to this as well?
Well, I have a particular problem with this. I've spoken to Larry and Dan, and I think they're acceptable to doing something about this. I think we've sort of said we don't always get enough bidders. We got a couple extra bidders here. Our process that the mitten is used mostly by people who are in the regular trade supplying stuff to the road commissions. They're the ones who sign up for this website and pay a fee usually and go and look at our bids. In this particular case, this is something I think we should be advertising locally. We said we included, we usually include it in the shopping list, the thing we use which is kind of Larry's shopping list, like we just approved ahead of it. It's usually included there. And for the past 3 years, we bought nothing. And it was just on the shopping list. It wasn't identified something as we're really going to spend some money on this now. The quantities weren't identified. And
You mean in the bid packet?
in the bid package, no quantities at all. Okay. And I don't think I think we could use some work on some of our bid processes, and we've talked about that over time. It really doesn't even tell the commissioners how much we're going to spend here. This is something we're going to there, and I didn't know this beforehand either. This is something we're going to buy. They want to buy at least 15,000 tons. It's a big pile, and we need a lot of materials. And the bidders really weren't told about that either. It was just part of the shopping list.
They can only guess based on.
They can guess based on what we've done the last 3 years, because I think the prices are still too high.
So, for example, we just approved the same 5 bidders for the aggregate materials. Was that bid packet different than the bid packet?
It's exactly the same, but it's stuff we buy very little quantities in reality of.
The aggregate, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, like the rip wrap, we don't buy that much.
Okay,
riprap.
so
It's almost
the
like-
difference is that here we'll be buying a lot more quantity.
A lot more, at least 15,000 tons.
Right.
And I really think we should rebid this. I'm not comfortable with it at all. I called only because this is my industry. And I made 3 calls to people locally I know who could furnish these materials. And they all said, they're probably not right on top of their bid game, but they were all interested in bidding. They didn't know about it. They had no idea we were going to get serious about it. That would actually be worth sharpening their pencil. And
So I guess my question is how, other than the amount of that we'll be buying, how is this different from all the other stuff we just approved for hot mixed asphalt? There was no information there as to how much we'll be buying from about that. Cold patch material, no
right,
information there.
it's all incidental, low money, low. This bid is more. It's at least 15,000 tons.
Okay.
It's a huge quantity.
Yeah.
And it's so expensive that it's not so expensive. It's so much money. It's equal to many of the Prussian shapes or the special assessment districts that we actually give a very detailed description to the bidder about what we're going to do. Because this is at least a couple $100,000 probably.
So just so I understand clearly, the difference between why you want to go rebid it is the sheer amount that you'll be buying.
I think the amount should be identified. Hey, we're serious about buying this.
Because all the other stuff that we just approved earlier are much smaller quantities that we are buying.
We had 25,000 tons of gravel last year, 25. Between, 22A and 23A, so it's
Yeah.
not insignificant.
Okay, well, that's a lot.
And then we get right down to it with the low bidder. There's no way for the low bidder to get their material to the Grand Traverse County Road Commission except this is at least 300 train loads. And the only way to get here is down our southernmost county road in a township that's already complained about gravel pits and is in current litigation with one. They do not have the money to repair this road. The road's in bad shape to begin with. And I think the fact that we'll be helping destroy a road in the township by awarding this is, I think that should be considered. The route should be considered in the.
But we are accepting all 5 of them. Which one are you?
No, I'm just talking about the sand.
Yeah, I'm recommending for sand, I'm recommending the crystal aggregate.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that would be the $12.75 and the $13.
Okay. So can I ask you, what is the why are you not recommending all 5 like you did previously?
Because the sheer organization of that, even like right now, when we get our salt in about 2,000 tons of it. You know what I mean?
At one time.
At one time.
Yeah.
And one trucking, more than one trucking company. So we're just saying, hey, let's pick the lowest and let's get our sand at the cheapest we possibly can, and let's get it
It's
in
one
here.
project too. You see the sand pile out there. We bring all our sand in at one time. We'll set it up for the winter.
We stack it.
You stack it. So whoever your little bidder is, the asphalt, you're buying that throughout the entire year at different times and smaller amounts and different things. So it's not like this is a one-time purchase versus that.
15,000 tons.
We're aggregated.
We're not going to buy one.
Sporadic throughout the year.
We don't stockpile all of it.
Yeah, we don't stockpile. We buy it
Go
in
pick up 10, 12 pounds.
So the 25,000 tons of gravel that you said, that was not a one-time purchase. That was
No, that's
time.
what our crews use throughout 2025.
Whereas this would be a bulk.
One-time.
And that is why you're
Yeah,
concerned.
and I didn't think the price was low.
It's 195.
It's 195 grand at least. And I've talked to, we don't need winter sand today. We have another meeting in 2.5 weeks.
No.
I think they could advertise it. I mean, free
Open
bid.
it off and rebid. I'm perfectly fine with that. Because it's winter salt. So
Yeah, and he's right. I think we really need to look at some of our bid policy too. We've been talking about reworking this, give some of the little guys a chance to get in the game sometimes. I mean, I like to see this L&D Casey and Sons or these Crystal Ag. I mean, these are guys that 20 years ago weren't around, as far as I know.
Right.
And, but I think it's better for competitive forces.
So how would we advertise it for the folks that don't go on the bid?
We've actually talked about this. What if, and I just kind of throw this out there, is if we have an expectation that we're going to be putting a number of things out for bid, we have a meeting. Let's have one of the items say, hey, we are going to be putting these items out for bid. And then at least gives people who are paying attention a chance to, engage with us on our site or with Mitten or.
I'd like to see us do some averaging. Yeah. Most of the neighboring counties, right now you could just dial in and look at what they're doing. And we haven't got to that point where we're posting our bids and our results on the site. We have some results. Yeah. I think we need to spend more time on it.
So would you advertise it for Record Eagle?
I would advertise it in the Record Eagle. I would say significant things.
See what happens.
Yeah.
It's a good trial here. A good
You know,
trial.
We did get advertised Record Eagle for years and we never received anybody really from it. But I think that's, do you remember when we pulled that, Kylie?
But even if we mentioned those things that are coming up for bid, anybody who's paying attention to the road commission, which they should be if that's their industry.
I'm not saying not to do it, I'm saying we have done it in the past.
I just like to see more participation.
Just for all of them.
For everything. And then we're succeeding in some ways.
Well, yeah, because
We've got more bids, but not.
I mean, that's fine. If that you guys want to rebid it, I'm to be honest with you, I'm still trying. I mean, if we're going to do this, if we're going to have this, then we should apply it across the board and not just do it for one set of materials just because of how we are buying it. I'm having problems with the other ones because I didn't know how much we buy for the aggregate, but we approved it based upon We defer to staff.
It is,
So,
and I'm glad
you know,
the same too. The commissioners really don't, we know that this $13, but that means nothing to us.
right.
It's at least a $200,000 expenditure to the county. Maybe we have to make Larry give us an idea of the quantities and the total dollar commitment to these things.
Right.
So we can do that. The biggest thing we could do is say our average of the last 2 years or something like that. Just say, this is the amount that we typically would purchase or do.
Yeah.
But some of these projects, like when we go into a gravel road improvement, it's very difficult to, exactly how.
Sand, we know roughly, we put 10,000 tons in Travers, 5,000 tons in changes. We know this, we like to have going into the winter.
Right.
Gravel, we don't know how much gravel we're gonna use up there, but we have a budgeted, we're not to, we've already approved the budget for the year, we're not gonna see that, but, it's. You should don't know.
Yeah, and some of the things like
Rip wrap, there was no clue how much rip wrap we use for the year.
We could have
Briming's gonna happen.
more riprap.
Well, Brian, we should know how much gas.
But they just want to know what the percentage, because those are mostly my township. They just want to know what's it gonna cost me for, what's it gonna cost?
Per mile, yeah.
That's all they really want to know. And it's about the same amount every year. So that's why I asked what's
Just a little bit of.
increase, and it's 5%, so they can now budget for that. So that's gonna happen no matter what. We really don't need to worry about the, whatever it is,
And even
180 miles or 180 miles.
Right, even like our brine, I mean, we bought more brine this
Yeah,
year
brine.
because it's cold out and,
Yeah.
there's different things so there's a few unknowns in there, but we could do an average of the last
Yeah.
2 years if you like.
I don't want to pound this issue into the stand anymore, but, yeah, but I mean, you said that you've been making sand, we've been making sand for 3 years, and this year we decided to go out. Are there any savings to us in terms of time, money, from making it in-house versus going out this year?
So when we made it 3 years ago, we made 3 winters worth.
Okay,
So it's 3 years ago, fuel prices, labor prices, all those things. So that's why we bid it out per ton, 'cause that's how we look at how much we make it per ton. And we were over around $11 when we made it 3 years ago. So if you add our wages, fuel and all that stuff to today's prices, it's probably somewhere maybe a little more for us to make it, even if it was a wash. We're peeling away our crew. It'd take our crew, 2 months to bring all that sand in. Now we're gonna have somebody else bring it in, so that frees up our trucks, our crews to go do other projects.
so there are savings. You guys reviewed it, you did a rough calculation or calculations, and you determined that it was a savings to the road commission by making it.
Yeah, and the main thing, like I said, if we could do it for penny, now we're freeing up our crews and our equipment to go do other projects, so we can get more done within the town. We want to be able to maybe go do another gravel road project or something like that, versus making our own sand and hauling our own sand in.
Yeah, but you also had it, you didn't have to do it for 3 years then. I thought about 2 years. Yeah, okay.
All right, let's move on to the guardrails.
So
You're gonna rebid that.
we're gonna rebid it, so we don't need a vote or anything. Let's see, guardrail installation, very, very similar to what we've done before. These are, last year we had 2 bidders, I believe. And so we're starting to gain a little momentum. We had Dukes and Son. We've used them before, but not lately. So I'm kind of excited to see these guys in action and give them a break. Give them a break is one of our local. They're out of Granville, but they do have some work up here that they've done. So I'm suggesting to approve all the guardrail installation and repair.
And again, this is an as needed.
Right.
Unknown quantities.
A lot of
Yes.
this is like kind of a pass through too, when we have a car accident or something.
Right.
That money gets passed through and it's just us coordinating and organizing and making sure our stuff gets repaired properly.
And Larry,
And time.
at one time, a couple of years ago, you spoke to us about how difficult it was to actually get somebody to do our guardrail work. Has that gotten better?
It has. We've gotten better though, too, I believe. I think we're starting to package these things up. So when a downstate company comes up, they're doing 10 guardrail repairs at once and then they go away, that kind of thing where we're not just, working on guardrails all summer long. You know? So we're really trying to get better at being more efficient so these guys can make money at doing what they do.
Okay. So why all five? Why not just go with give them a break, which is the cheapest?
Because some of their things are more expensive.
Some of the.
Well, I'm looking at the total prices at the bottom,
Yeah.
So
right?
if you look at those, even if you look at the materials only, and you take a look at those terminal end types. There's just so many different variations in this, and the other thing is I really want to give these guys kind of a shot, really. So I package these things up, and let's say I do 10 of them, then maybe I'll and what I've been doing is I say, here's the package, who is available, right? Because that's a big one.
Ran that in the past where like you said, yeah. They're either doing some huge project for the state, they're doing something on 75 and say, it'll be there in 2 months. So we got a guardrail right open. That's right to our, public. We need this fixed next week. So then we
This is
gotta move on to the next
reason
place.
a bunch of allows us anything.
Yeah, I think Duke's is in Big Rapids, which is, that's a good thing. So anyway, there's a lot of different, there's liability to guardrails too. So that's kind of why we don't do it in-house. And like I said, most of it is reimbursed through insurances and car insurances. Okay. So I was,
I would make the motion that we accept the staff recommendation for the guardrail installation materials bids for Action Traffic Maintenance, G&J Site Solution, Dale Dukes and Sons, and Given of Rate Safety and RMD Holding. 2026.
Second that. Okay, motion by Commissioner Gilman, second by Commissioner Underwood. Is there any further discussion?
the only thing I have to say is in these bids, I've also included the villages and I've also included MDOT. So if anything, if they need help or if they need any kind of assistance, we can
do it, then do the pass through.
Somebody who talks to those villages all the time. Thank you very much.
All right. Do we vote on this, please?
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn, absent and excused, Underwood,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. And we will remove you. Yep. Now we're on
Birds, it's the bill show.
You advance fine.
You guys already approved it at a prior meeting. This is the resolution to approve. To get going, but the date is still April 1st. To transition.
So you have another motion?
I think so, but to approve the resolution.
It's a resolution.
Yeah, it's right here. It's right here.
It is. It's the last few pages.
That is, yeah, that 176.
I make a motion that we accept the MERS Uniform 574 Supplemental Retirement Program resolution.
57.
Is that proper? 457. Sorry, 457, center one.
And authorize Dan.
And authorize Dan to sign the contract.
Any document.
Any document.
Support by Commissioner Gilman. Any further discussion? All right, do we need?
Yeah, it's a resolution. So we have
Okay.
to-
All right, Kylie, please roll.
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn, absent and excused, Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Make the motion, we go into closed session to discuss attorney-client privilege,
Communication.
attorney-client communications with regard to the East Bay TIF district discussion.
To support?
I'll support.
All in favor?
No.
Roll call for this too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Horn, absent and excused, Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. Time is
Yeah.
11:35. Maybe all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, we see people bike and the road, with the
All the
sidewalks.
time. All right.
and stuff. Yeah. Like, it just feels good.
We maybe have something to say about the special assessment district, but I'm going to say for myself that we're looking forward to your presentation to us, Beth, next month.
Appreciate that. We're looking forward to it as well.
And as far as, I think it's on the agenda. I do want to, we as the road commission will be looking at, some drastic changes, I think, that comes from that district. And I think there are some objections that we legitimately have. There are talks of traffic calming, and it essentially means traffic use changes. We were looking up on the board a little while ago, it's 29,000 in 2024, people using that particular stretch of the corridor. Okay, if you calm that down, what happens? The lines get long, people get mad. I mean, I remember once upon a time it was 35 mile an hour along there. And the state police said, well, people drive faster, and they raised it to 45. If all would have been done back when I hoped to make it happen, where that hotel was, we'd have a road that goes up 4 mile, and we'd have a bridge across the Boardman out here, and that corridor would be an exceptional place for such a design. I think right now it's irresponsible, and I'm going to use my particular spot in front of the camera. Yeah, I'll speak to the camera right now. I'll speak to the public. I think it's a foolish idea to make this kind of development at this time or in the future. I think that tax increment financing in general is theft from your fellow government. If you can't do it yourself, you shouldn't do it. And I think that going forward, at least that'll be my opinion on this. So that's all I have to say about it.
I am going to wait and listen to East Bay Township's presentation at our next meeting.
I'm in the same boat. I'm looking forward to learning more. So, I don't know a lot about it.
Okay. Managers' comments.
Looking at the weather long-term forecast here right now, looks like it's going to be quite a warm up, and we're actually looking at some decent rain coming up next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 40+ degrees. So I think we all know what that means.
Yeah, I saw his notice.
We're looking at frost laws, so we're looking at putting tomorrow weight restrictions on next Friday.
Next Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah. So give everybody sending out notices now, give everybody a whole week notice to be prepared, get their equipment moved where they need to do. And we're looking at the Thawcaster, and even though it's going to warm up a little bit this week, it didn't show actually coming out of the ground until like the weekend when the rain hit. So we think as long as we get trucks shut down before the weekend, our roads will be in good shape. The other thing is, everybody hand out tonight. This is we've talked about it a few times. We kind of show some rough drafts. This is our plan for 2026 projects. I want to give everybody a copy of that before we put this out on our website.
Yeah, that second gas road, that's getting really rough there right now too. So it'd be good to see that.
They're noticing lots of potholes here.
Yeah.
Freeze thaw is crazy.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's all I have for now.
Okay, commissioners' comments.
I have one, and Dan, are we ADA certified on our website yet? And if not, do we have a plan to make sure? That's very important. I've had to sit through two meetings on making sure we're ADA compliant on my other job. So do we have an action plan to make sure that we become ADA before the deadline?
We have had a few meetings about that, and it's something that we're working on. I think a lot of our stuff already is. I think we do need to do a few things on our website for maybe hearing impaired.
Hearing impaired, certain fonts, certain there's a whole mantra we have to get through? Okay. Just heads up.
Michelle and HR's.
Okay.
That project.
Great.
I just want to comment, the traffic count viewer presentation we had. It's just, I'm very impressed by that because by the information that provides to the public and to our public officials, and the plan to overlay our road ratings, Pacer and PCI ratings over those roads, which would enable us to then see really what conditions those roads are and what kind of traffic volume they have. It's a project that we started talking about, if this board remembers, back, I think, in maybe 2023 and 2024. And at one point, we even talked about, well, let's talk about working on roads that have a certain number of cars. And we came up with an arbitrary number. I don't know what it was at that time. And, the wheels of government move slow, but they've actually moved. And it took us 2 years, which is fine, but if we got this the right result, and we did. And I'm really very optimistic about this. I'm very excited about the fact that we can now use this data and actually start working on our local roads that need to be worked upon with good data, with good information, and not trying to guess and speculate. So I just want to say, thank you to Dan, to Larry, to all the staff for having, the vision to do it, and this board for, persistent about getting that information done, that project done, and towards working on our local roads. And I really appreciate all the work you guys have done, and I'm really looking forward to using that data to make some, make some decisions on projects going in the future. So that's what I have to say.
I definitely echo that. I love this. This is great. Scott, thanks for putting this stuff together. And to add to that, I had just a little, update thing for Scott to do. And he's like, oh yeah, I take that. Took care of it. I love that. So good job, man. Other than that, I've said a lot.
I want to particularly thank you for the engineering staff, like Larry, not the engineering staff, but the engineering staff, and then for the movement on the primary and secondary road designations. We have waited quite a while, and it's nice to see this. It's going to add to our revenue, and it's identifying the roads for people to understand what the differences are. And this is something that is important to us, how we can fund the repairs of the worst roads, adding some projects that are eligible for federal funding, and then deciding based on the data that we need high traffic, poor road. That's where we need to go, and not just guessing. And so we have been waiting for the 5-year plan. I think it's been slower to develop. We talked about last month. Dan wanted to enter this year with this done. It hasn't gone that fast. We had some late traffic counts, which were, you just can't count them all when you've got all the detours going on. And so some of that has contributed to that. Outside factors beyond our control, but we're still moving forward. And I thank you guys for that. How about public comment? Does anybody else would like to speak again? You may.
Hi, thank you for your discussion on the CIA at TIF and allowing us to present to you in a month. We do look forward to doing that as well. The traffic counts are excellent. We have known that the corridor that we're talking about has had some of the largest traffic counts in our county for some time. That's one of the reasons when the County Road Commission underwent an East-West corridor study, you found East Bay Township at every single local unit of government meeting they had, because we knew that corridor had such huge traffic counts. One thing I want to make sure you're aware of is we are not asserting our knowledge as traffic engineers. We are planners, we're collaborators, we figure out how to make the pieces of the puzzle and the funding work. And we are relying on MDOT and their traffic engineers for safety. That's become one of the most dangerous corridors that we have in this county. We have repeatedly seen deaths there. And I know you don't take that lightly. I know MDOT doesn't take it lightly. And we certainly don't in East Bay Township either. Right now, in East Bay Township, we have very little control over that. One of the things we can bring to the table is collaboration and funding to work with MDOT and safety. So I appreciate that. We look forward to the conversation next month. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no other business, could we adjourn?
Yes, move to adjourn.
All right. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.